Critical race theory is literally just a theory. It's not fact. I hate the idea that anytime somebody tries to combat critical race theory, automatically the left says, well, what, you don't like the real history of America? I'm like, well, why would you call it a theory if it's just the facts of our country? It's a connection. The theory is the connection. You're trying to connect past oppressions with current disproportions. And you're claiming that these past oppressions are still the same oppressions that people are dealing with today. That's the theory part to it. So it's not a fact. Otherwise, you call critical race facts. We have to stop. We have to get out of this mentality that this is what critical race theory is, just teaching the real history. Call it real history. Call it the facts of history. I don't care what you call it. But when you add the name theory to it, that's literally what it is. You're calling it a theory. You're telling us that the idea, the premise behind it is not fact. That this is just, it's a correlation. This is what we are assuming is happening. And a lot of times with critical race theory, we're only teaching the negatives of history. We're never teaching the equality factors. We're going from slavery to Jim Crow, redlining, segregation, and then we're jumping to 2023 and going, well, that's why there's disproportions. But what about all the positive that happened as well? What about all the bills that were passed and legislation that was passed to help people that had past oppressions, that were, oppressed in their lives before? We forget about that? Why would we forget about that? We forget about affirmative action. We forget about the Civil Rights Act. We forget about everything that America has done to try to correct its wrong. And based on what? Based on the aggression of some people back in the 1800s, 17 and 1800s, back in the early 1900s. I'm not taking away from what's occurred. But at the end of the day, we have to stop pretending that everybody's not equal today in 2023. Everybody has the same equal opportunity. The starting point may be different, but the starting point is different for every individual in this country. There are very poor people in every single race. And again, not taking away from the disproportion, but there are people that have starting points in all different areas. There are people that have disability starting points that are different from other people. Every single person individually has a different starting point. So if you want to create opportunity, I'm all for it, but create opportunity for everybody. Don't just create opportunity for specific groups of people. There are poor people. There are poor white people. There are white people that have terrible disabilities that they can't, that would be difficult to get over or get through with. So I'm sorry that we have to feel like we really need to push this agenda. But the truth is, critical race theory is just that. It is a theory.